Hey there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another HD broadcast, and today we are going to be looking at a Zerg versus Protoss battle here on Scrap Station, and the players are extremely formidable. For some of you guys who may be familiar in the Warcraft 3 scene, we have MadFrog playing Zerg here down in the bottom corner, and MadFrog is a Swedish player, an old school Swedish player who played extremely successfully as the undead race in Warcraft 3. He's an old school pro and has just started to make his name in Starcraft 2, opting to play as the Zerg race. And so it is going to be an interesting matchup here today, Zerg versus Protoss. His opponent is going to be WhiteRa, who has, for whatever reason, decided to change his name to DuckloadRa. And I'm going to have a difficult time calling him Duckload, so I'm just going to continue to call him by his trademark name, WhiteRa. And what I'm really excited to see, why I'm excited to see this match, is because it is going to be a battle of the old school Brood War veteran WhiteRa versus the old school Warcraft 3 veteran MadFrog. So it is going to be an extremely entertaining matchup, I believe, here on Scrap Station. WhiteRa already getting his scouting probe up into MadFrog's base to see exactly what is going on. And I haven't seen any games really of MadFrog yet. All I know is him based off of recommendations and referrals. So I'm not too familiar with MadFrog, but I'm going to assume that he is an economical style Zerg player, as most Zergs are. And it looks like he is going to save up for an expansion. No, he's going to throw down a spawning pool and a gas right now. So going to be, I guess, playing some kind of a one-base Zerg play instead. So I guess not too much of a macro player himself. And meanwhile, WhiteRa here throwing down one gateway at his entrance. Nothing too interesting yet. And he is going to be throwing a pylon down here between his natural and his main. He may opt to go for a forge right now to block. If he can get a forge right here, he can block off this door into his natural base. And then with a couple of zealots and perhaps another building, he'll be able to block off this ramp as well. So perhaps WhiteRa is going to go for a forge fast expand. It would be pretty bold to do something like that, because I honestly feel like MadFrog could just go for a Baneling bust and bust down the pylon right here, and that could be very, very deadly. It looks like MadFrog is going to be going for an expansion anyways. He is getting the gold with his hatchery down here all the way in the corner, gonna try to sneak that in. And right now, WhiteRa is not aware of that gold expansion. So if he allows this to go up, then he could find himself falling behind in the economy. But he does have that Nexus going down and a Forge, so he is going for a Forge fast expand after all to cover his losses. And even though the Zerg player MadFrog is going to have that gold expansion, he shouldn't find himself too far behind. Another pylon being warped in there, and MadFrog knows exactly what's going on right here. He sees the Forge, he sees the Zealot, and all he has to do right now to, I would think, go for a victory, go for a Baneling bust, and bust this pylon, and you can flood the Zerglings in right into the natural and crush that Nexus, because there's only one gateway. Oh, we had the Forge actually canceled there, and I guess repositioned for a better Zergling proof wall. And here we go, MadFrog going to be running in here with a couple of his initial Zerglings. He does have Metabolic Boost on the way. Is this a Baneling's Nest? No, it is not. An Evolution Chamber going down instead. So MadFrog possibly going to be going for some kind of a two-base, a mass Zergling with upgrades build, because keep in mind, MadFrog has this gold expansion. He's going to have a ton of minerals to pump out a bunch of Zerglings, and that could be very deadly. Oh, WhiteRa here going to try to sneak his probe in to see if there is a gold expansion. He is almost going to get it in there, and he is going to see the creep, and so that is going to tell him right away that the hatchery is there right when the speed kicks in. So a little bit of an unfortunate mishap for MadFrog. The speed just coming in a second too late, but WhiteRa with his uncanny scouting ability, now he even knows that there are speedlings on the map, and he is positioning his Zealots for maximum wallage. Also has a photon cannon warping in right behind the Forge, and a cybernetics core coming down. Great placement of the Zealots here, knowing their I guess their personal space, knowing how much room he can leave with the minimum amount of units, and that is going to block off these speedlings. So MadFrog here, I guess he's a little bit frustrated about the fact that the Protoss is going for this fast expand. This is a very, very curious strategy from WhiteRa, but if any map you can do it on, this is the map to do it, because you can just block off both the main and the natural with the Forge and the cannon. But here we go. Looks like MadFrog gonna go for these backdoor rocks, and WhiteRa is gonna be putting up a pylon right here. He can actually warp in a cannon right now, and that is exactly what he's gonna do. Put up a photon cannon to cover those rocks, and Great play right now from WhiteRa, putting up the defenses where he needs them, at the natural, at the main. He's got everything walled off, and now he's warping in a cannon to protect his rocks as well. So great strategy thus far from WhiteRa, and he's even scouted the fact that there is a gold expansion. And look at this, we have air weapons level 1 coming out from the cybernetics core, so we are going to be seeing some kind of an air build from WhiteRa, and there comes the cannon warping in, and the Stargate is being hidden in the corner. Wow, WhiteRa, the trickiest of all players, is going to be pumping out, I would assume, a Void Ray right out of this Stargate, and he's going to go straight for this this hatchery. He may even just pump a bunch of Phoenixes as well. And yes, we have a second Stargate going down. I gotta assume this is gonna be some kind of a Void Ray Phoenix combination, and there is the first Void Ray. A ton of Zerglings trying to flood into this front door, and oh, a couple of Zerglings finding their way through the Zealots. That is not good, and this is gonna force WhiteRa to pull off a couple of probes to help defend the front door. A lot of the Zerglings have gone down, however, thanks to the cannon and the Zealots, and it looks like only a handful snuck in. But how many went down to the Zerglings? How many Harvesters went down? It doesn't look like many, and WhiteRa is still in a commanding lead, 43 Harvesters over 32. But notice his income slightly lower in the mineral department because MadFrog does have that gold expansion. And little does he know that there is a Void Ray being hidden, dual Void Rays. A second one on the way from this second Stargate. Not sure what the other Stargate is going to be used for yet. But he is not aware of this air build that is coming out. +1 weapons is still ticking away at that cybernetics core, and I'm assuming that WhiteRa is just gonna wait for that +1 to finish. And here comes more Zerglings from MadFrog. MadFrog gonna be running in there. He's also getting a third expansion, still playing this 1-base speedling build, and he's gonna try to sneak it into the natural. He is gonna get them in one by one, and even the neutral creep, the automaton, trying to help out the Protoss player WhiteRa there a little bit. But all these probes gonna fall to the Zerglings, or at least several of them, as they evacuate the area. And this is the real threat right here. WhiteRa could lose this Nexus, and that is going to be a huge setback for the Protoss player here. The Nexus is going to fall to our Undead Warcraft 3 player, and now WhiteRa is reeling from his losses. He is just now cut down to 1 base, and he's going to attempt to even out the odds with this dual Void Ray attack. But look at this, Mutalisk switching out for MadFrog right here. Oh my goodness, I think this is going to be enough Mutas to deal with the Void Rays along with the Queen, and WhiteRa is not going to be able to, oh, Transfusion being used on the Mutalisk, so MadFrog doing everything he can, and it is going to be enough to take out this Void Ray before it just goes berserk on the hatchery. And a third Void Ray coming into no man's land. All of his buddies have died. A fourth Void Ray on the way as well, and all of these Void Rays are just gonna fall. What a huge and costly investment to lose for WhiteRa right now, and things are not going too well for him. He is now transitioning into Phoenixes, as I called it before, getting a Void Ray Phoenix combination, very, very potent against the Zerg army, and it looks like that's exactly what he's going to go for. Already has a couple of Phoenixes out, but you know, MadFrog with these Mutalisks on the field can take out these Void Rays very easily. A second Void Ray, a second Phoenix coming in to deal with these Mutalisks, and the Void Ray gonna fall as more Mutalisks come out to help. But it looks like the Phoenixes are going to be able to take out all of the mutas in the air. And right now, MadFrog, what is his strategy? He is not getting any more upgrades. He is actually getting a Hydralisk Den right now. So he realizes that he can transition into Hydralisk, bust this front door with pure Hydras, and even take out the air with that as well. It looks like MadFrog just running around the map with the Zerglings. Phoenixes just chilling above this gold expansion. There's a Hydralisk Den, so WhiteRa knows exactly what's going on. And more Zerglings gonna try to run by straight into the natural. A new Nexus desperately trying to be warped in right now, and all of the Zealots and the cannon